Sure, whatever. This is Phantasy Star 3 on the Sega Genesis, being played on the PS4 Sega Genesis Classics disc. Well, this game has a very slow opening, in case you're wondering. This is actually one of the first Genesis games I played back in the late 90s, but I was using it on an emulator, so we're not going to include that. But I did play this game on the Xbox 360 about 5 or 6 years ago. I never made a video of it like I did some of my earlier videos, because I admittedly walked away from it without actually sitting down to actually explain why I stopped playing it. I've been playing this game for about an hour without commentary to set the basics. Unfortunately, I reminded myself this game is incredibly slow. So we will be fast forwarding during some of the parts. Forgive me for that, but there's a lot of this. I'm not going to do it all the time, but I'm definitely going to do it occasionally because a lot of this game is just really slow. But I'll let you get a feel for the pacing of the game before I start doing any of that. So the game wants me to go to the wedding that's going to take place here in the northern part of town. To my knowledge, you can't skip any of this. As I recall, this was a game that was released in 1991. This game apparently has nothing to do with Phantasy Star 1 or 2. It's a completely different game, set in a completely different universe that apparently was set up as apparently was brought into the Phantasy Star universe in the United States. I'm not sure. Well, you guys are in my way, doofuses. Do I have to go around the long way? That's right. I have to pick her up over here. My fiancé is over here. Our queen-to-be. From Zamunda. Maybe someday we'll find out where I'm from and who I am. Like, okay, so you're gonna marry a woman who doesn't know her own past. I don't know, man. There's a word for that. I don't know if I want to use the word here on this video, but there's a word for marrying someone who doesn't know who they are. Or where they come from. Let's see. Yeah, this whole thing's going down. I'm not pressing any buttons, by the way. Didn't I see this in Ghouls and Ghosts? Yeah, cool off in the dungeon for a while. Yeah, my wife literally just got captured. Okay, again, this was spectacle. This is a spectacle we had to deal with in 16-bit consoles back in 1991. This is the JRPG spectacle we had to deal with back then. So this game was, I don't remember where I read. I think Wikipedia might have confirmed this. This game was actually not in the Phantasy Star universe. But like the Final Fantasy games, I guess, they decided that, JRPGs don't have to have a shared universe. They can just have the same title and people will buy them. There is some grinding you'll have to do early in the game. I won't make you sit through all of that, but again, I'm going to establish the basics of the pacing before I start skipping ahead. I made 3 game saves to account for that. Give me that knife. So I have boots, a garment, and a knife. That's enough for now. But I'm gonna need to find a second party member, and they won't be available for at least half an hour. Like I said, we'll try to speed through it. I don't know what a monitor is. You can't equip it, though. Yeah, you can't. Sorry, man. Can't. So I guess we can't use the monitor. Is she one of my future wives? I can't remember. What was that game? Yeah, I remember when I first read about this game, I remember one of the big appeals of this game was that there were multiple endings based on the woman you choose to marry. And I don't know if she's supposed to be one of them. But yeah, at some point you're supposed to make a decision about who to marry, and then the game goes in the game branches off in multiple paths. Will I make it that far? I doubt it. But again, all of this is on automatic pilot. Like I'm not pressing any buttons except for opening those treasure chests. So that gets me out of the dungeon. So we will not be buying anything right away. Cause do we have any money? I'm pretty sure we don't have any money. I can't see how much money I have. Maybe it's under stats. There it is. I have 300 Meseta. Don't know where I got that 300 Meseta. Maybe it was a dowry. I don't know. So I can buy crap. I'm not going to right away. So we'll establish the basics of the game's early pacing. Again, very slow. Unlike Phantasy Star 2, though, the combat does allow you to select individual enemies to target, and that's very good. Random encounters are blind, but they are not random anymore. Well, they're still random, but they're based on how far you've walked. As you can see right here, if I rewind and I go in a different direction, the enemies will still attack me. And unlike Phantasy Star 2, you can't just pause to reset the clock. So if you walk a certain distance, the enemies will attack you. This is the auto battle, full auto battle. This is the turn-based battling, where you get to make a different decision every turn. That's to run away, and this is to select your strategy. You can attack a specific enemy, you can use an item, you can defend, or use magic. We have no techniques. And we can choose... Yeah, we can choose to target a specific enemy, I guess. You can choose to target a specific enemy here. We won't have to yet. But again, when we see multiple enemies, we'll be allowed to switch enemies that we want to target. Unlike Phantasy Star 2, so I appreciate that. Music is not particularly impressive, so I guess I'll have to talk over it. I'm doing fine so far, so I can just move towards the nearest town. Well, I should probably do a quick game save, but I'm not going to move. I'm not going to go too far. I just want to show you, like I said, you see how far I'm able to walk before I have to get into a fight. That I can just heal myself in town. Oh, they got the jump on me. Yeah. So I got ambushed. So I can rewind out of that and see if I can avoid the ambush. No. Okay. So I think the only way to completely redo it is to rewind. And then see if you can spawn a new mob. Effectiveness is 2, huh? So we'll do auto battle next time. I do want to have full health before I make the excursion. I'm gonna get into at least 3 fights, if not 4, before I get to the next excursion. So these guys go down in one hit. That's not bad. I'm not getting any real money for any of this, though. But yeah, see that skyscraper over there with the road? Don't worry about that. You can't interact with it yet. Just so you know. I surprised the monster. And I want to say there's someone over here in the northeastern forest. Yeah, this is just a wall. You can't go north because it's just literally just a wall. So we're stuck here in the bottom of the Grand Canyon. It's one way to get your content, I suppose. Yeah, looks like another RPG Maker game. Although, unlike Phantasy Star 2, there isn't like a second character hiding inside one of these houses that I forgot was here. But there is a second party member we'll be able to recruit later once I take a little rest. I have plenty of money, so I can afford to go over here. So we're not gonna buy any more crap, but what I will do is go over here. This little sign right here means we have an inn. Good night's rest is 5 clams, and that's about 4 fights worth of gold. We're not going to save our game. Those are the saves. I have a ground zero save already. That was the first one. The second save is the one I made before I started recording this video. Weapon shop over here. I'll check and see if I can buy multiple weapons. We'll just do a quick check. We probably won't need to. So we'll do a breadcrumb save here. Not a real one, just a breadcrumb save. Stupid, now I have to go full screen again. Hit the wrong button. The good news is I don't need a weapon. I don't need a second weapon. Hit the wrong button. I get the A button to talk. C button's for the status menu. B's to back out. It's a needle. Oh, the claw is for my second party member when she shows up. Okay, so we'll make our excursion. And we can just rewind our way past them. We can't avoid any fights. We can run away from them. But I just want to show you how many fights I get into while I make this trip down south. There's a second town. So you have to deal with one enemy along the way. That's perfectly fine. So again, we're not making much money. We're not getting much experience. So eventually we're going to want another party member. That's Yatta. Yatta! That's the name of this town? Yatta. The man by the fountain owns a boat, but he will not sail unless he has a cyborg on board. We'll get to that. Yeah, it's medieval fantasy with the sci-fi rolled into it. Here he is. And this becomes a bit funnier later because he won't let me go on the ship unless I have a cyborg. I'll show you what the cyborg looks like later. And trust me, the cyborg will not look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's a... whatever. This is a place where you can revive any fallen party members. This is a... it's a spell redistribution center. I have no idea what it does. And to be honest, I'm gonna be bored with this game before I even deal with it. I'm probably gonna have to go. I'll have to go online and figure out what it even does. Again, this game didn't come with a manual, so I guess they figured you would just go online and find out how to play these games because the manuals aren't included. So we're gonna need a cyborg. There's also another town around here. I'll show you the other town in just a second. But again, the whole idea is to establish the basics so you get to see the pacing of the game early on. Can't go on the boat yet. So where I forgot to save. Or excuse me, actually I forgot to rest. So he's gonna attack first anyway, huh? So they're gonna get a chance to attack first, huh? Okay, I can just run away. That's fine. Yeah, I escaped, so we're fine. Yeah, like I said, we're gonna avoid some of these fights for a while. But I do want to revive. I do want to rest for the night before I go on another trip. Wow, these guys are destroying me. Yeah, it's gonna take a while before I could actually level up. So that's the thing. So that's the way back to town. The first town. Oh, come on. So we're gonna have to heal ourselves already. That's what I'm talking about. So I want to say as soon as you leave the battle, the game does a dice roll that determines how many steps you get to take before the battle starts. So, but if you enter a town before you take that number of steps, you should be fine. But like I said, it's not it's apparently the number of steps you need to trigger a battle is the same every time you leave a battle. So it will roll a number and say once you take 9 steps, you're going to get into another fight. Or once you take 5 steps, you're going to get into another fight. That seems to be how it works. And we can test that a bit later. We're not going to save. And I'll show you why. And I'll show you why once I skip ahead. So we'll find the third town so we can establish what the cyborg thing is all about. So I can do a quick save here. So I know there's a third town around here, which I believe is southeast of here. I haven't played this game for like 8 or 9 hours, so I'm just trying to... Yeah, I think it was down the bridge. Got ambushed. Yeah. So I can back out entirely. Yeah, so the number of steps I take before I trigger the battle is the same every time. Not after every battle, because sometimes it'll trigger after 6 steps instead of 10, I suppose. We'll see how it goes. I got poisoned. See if I can cancel out of that. He's gonna use poison anyway. So he didn't poison. Yeah, apparently I don't have access to a magic spell that will heal me right away. But I do have access. Like, in other words, my second party member is a healer. But she can't cure poison. Escaping is actually pretty easy. Most of the time. There's the third town. So we'll hop over here. Because there's a clue here about why I'm here. Not that. One of y'all has a clue. The old man won't let me on his boat unless I have a cyborg. And where can I find a cyborg? Well, it's funny you say that. I saw one of Leia's people at a lake by the northeastern forest. The woman never blinked. What kind of woman would never blink? Possibly a cyborg. So there's your clue. So we need to go north. We need to go northeast. So we're gonna hike back to the town with the boat after I'm done with this fight. Probably make it back to town. I can fast forward to speed up my walking. Like I said, this game is very slow. My God. Wow, they got an attack off right away, huh? Let's just run away. I think it's a good idea. I should be able to make it back to town. Because I have to heal myself before I head. Because it's a bit of a hike to get to where the unblinking woman is by the lake. You know, the T-2000 or whatever. So I at least want to show you where she is. Because like I said, it's a bit of a hike. Yep, it's okay to save the game. We're not going to save the game, so back out. We're not going to save here. I mean, I guess I could get some potions for the hike. I don't know. We're not gonna do any of that. So let's see how many steps I can take before the game interrupts me. Let's see. Do the save there. So she's northeast of here. So let's see how far I can go. We have to go northeast. We're gonna run away from most of these fights. And rewind if we can't. And we did. And I don't know if escaping changes the number of steps you can take before the next fight. Yeah, the force is not over here, I don't think. We surprise the monsters and we can run away. If I make a wrong turn, I'll just reload the game save, I suppose. Because I don't remember where the lake is. Took him down in one shot. So again, there's a lot of this for the first 30 minutes of the game, unfortunately. Very slow roll. Very slow boil. Yeah. We'll deal with that Joker-looking enemy a bit later. There she is. Wait. What was the name of the lady? No, it's New. What was the name of the woman in Phantasy Star 2? I don't remember her name. I played that game 2 days ago. I don't remember her name. I'm a combat cyborg, not a robot. Vampire Apprentice Mew. I've been waiting 1,000 years for you. Only a descendant of a Reikyo can command me. Wow, she's been waiting 1,000 years for me. It's okay. I get. I was expecting a robot waifu, but here we go. Oh, hold on, just a second. I was supposed to equip her with some stuff. Just a second. She has magic spells. Technique. He has no techniques, but she has several. We can use these 3 techniques outside of battle, but the ones on the right side we have to use in a fight. So we'll test those out. In fact, let me see if I can show you my game save, because I made another game save right around here. Just a second. Just to make sure I did this right. So we can do a save down here just to make sure I got it right. Then we'll load one. Because the second one has the game save I made. Yep, there she is. What's my experience level? I'm still level 2. Okay, so it's pretty much the same. And unlike Phantasy Star 2, you can always figure out how much experience you need to level up. So that's good. So that's the second game save I made. Intel. That's intelligence. Probably for magic. It's probably for techniques and magic and crap. So I found her. And if I load this again, what's my experience level here? It should still be level 2. Yeah, not full health here. So this is a better game save, if I'm being honest. So we can save that here. Let me delete the last one. So that last one would be our ground 0 save. So we'll hike back to town because we have to take the cyborg back to the ship. Then ride the ship. So let's see what the techniques are for what's her name. You have to, her name's in yellow if you can't see that. It's a flashing yellow. I prefer a cursor, but you know, what are you going to do? So there's Mew. And she has healing spells. I don't know what Rever means. That's probably a healing spell. Yeah, help. That heals the entire party, apparently. Magic. Res. So that heals one party member. Rever. I don't know what rever means. It chose the spell. Did it work? It failed. So whatever I tried to do just failed. You also got a big hit on me, so that can't help. So what's the other spell I want? Anti. Yes, I thought that was supposed to be an antidote, but it doesn't work outside of a fight. Next page. Fan B Forza shoot. I have no idea what that means. Fan B. I think that gives you fire ability. I have no idea what that does. Yeah, what does Fan B do? I have no idea. So I'll save that for my healing. I'll save my technique points for my healing. And let's see. Forza. Is that a targeting ability? It failed. I guess it was a lightning spell that failed. I almost prefer, like, LITE from Final Fantasy, because at least that tells you what the spell actually does. Nasak. I don't know what that does. Does that speed us up? Failed. No idea what Nasak does. Okay, so what's the last spell do? Shoo. No idea what Shoo does. It worked, but I have no idea what it does. Does it add water resistance? I have no idea. There's another page? No, it's just back to the original page. Okay, so we can just fight. Screw this. Miyu has claws that do a lot of damage. So we'll be fine. So that's all I know. Oh, yeah, like I said, she can heal, but we won't need to heal right away. Let's see. Technique. So this heals one party member. This heals the entire party. Don't know what that does. And that's, I thought that was an antidote spell, but I have no idea what it does. So we'll see how it goes. Oh yeah, forgot to show you the weapons. So whatever claw she had was supposed to last for 1,000 years. I guess it's just have to deal with the weathering. Claw vest ribbon. You think we could give the claw and the knife to Rise here, our avatar? You can't rename your characters apparently. Oh well. Yeah, but we're going back to the ship. Maybe we should make a stop in the first town before we head back to the ship. We'll see how it goes. Like I said, the walking speed is just so slow. I mean, if I made that point pretty clear, I hope. That claw just sliced through that chicken. Spatchcocked it. Hey, we're going down. And again, if we don't want to do any more fighting, we can just run away, and if it fails, we can just rewind out of it. We can rewind to a spot prior to the battle, because what happens is if you rewind to a spot before the battle spawns, then you get an opportunity to try to run again. Because once the battle starts, the game apparently determines whether or not the run's going to work on your first try. So if nothing else, it's kind of interesting to kind of rewind the game to see how the logic works. If nothing else, the game is useful for that. In fact, I'll probably end up doing a data dump where I test out some of the enemy spawning logic that this game uses. I mean, these games are pretty simple, so some of the logic you can figure out just by trial and error, I guess. Well, funny you say that. I have a cyborg. Sailors used to believe that women were bad luck. No, from Dark Water said that women were bad luck on a ship. But yet, this guy thinks a cyborg is good looks. How does he deal with that cognitive dissonance, I wonder? Actually, let me save my game before I do this. Yeah, because as soon as we talk to this guy, we're going to get transported to another side of the map. So where's my quick game save? Yeah, so I have that second game save, so I can delete this one. And then I can load up that third game save I made to kind of make the points. Yeah, this is the save that I made. Level 2 and level 3. So this is probably a better game save. Okay, that's fine. So which game save? I don't think Miyu's experience level went up. Let's do the load and see if it worked. Three, 2, huh? Yeah, the other game save is better. I grind it up a bit more. Okay, so we'll load that third game save and call it. Okay, so I'm more leveled up here, so again, I wanted you to get a feel for the pacing of the game early on. I argue we should probably save our game before we should probably rewind out of here. We should probably heal. In fact, how's our healing? Okay, I'll tell you what. We'll get into one more fight because we know this guy's gonna let us go on his ship. So we'll get into a couple more fights. Spend the night together, and then we'll shove off. We're not gonna go that far. And I guess what I'll do eventually is that okay, Miyu got poisoned. That's bad. We'll back out of the poisoning, see if that solves the problem. Let's try something different. If you want to target a specific enemy, like we can tell Miyu to attack a specific enemy, which again you could not do in Phantasy Star 2. So I'm glad that's a thing now. He's down. So the poisoner is down. That giant rat is basically a poisoner, so I'm glad we took him down. So we'll get into a couple more fights, then spend the night, heal ourselves, and head out. Like that woman in Zelda 2 heals Link by inviting him into her house. What was the whole deal with Phantasy Star? Phantasy Star 2. Well, there's nothing special about how inns worked in that game. But at least the building, well, you can go in, I think you can go into regular houses here, but so far most of the buildings are just shops. Yeah, he's down. Okay, so you can make an argument that it's more efficient for Miyu to attack the rat first, because she can probably take him down in one hit, but the auto battling's fast enough that you usually don't have to worry about that. Yes, like the first hour of the game is basically just us doing this. So again, I'm not gonna make you sit through all that. That catches you up to what I did for the first 2 or 3 hours, for the first hour and a half of this game. Yep, you can slash him in one hit. Pretty good. So yeah, we're not getting a whole lot of gold, we're not getting a whole lot of experience, so it's probably worth it to go somewhere else just so we can get some more loot, I would argue. Yeah, they're going down in a hurry now. So getting to the second party member was definitely the right move. That's the third town down there. We'll need to go down there. I want to say the enemies are pretty much the same in these areas. Got ambushed. So to avoid the ambush, you gotta rewind to a part before the battle spawns. Then you take, like I said, you're seeing, every time I rewind, the number of steps we take before the battle starts is always the same. I guess that makes it easier to grind, knowing the enemies are guaranteed to show up, but still. I want to make sure we don't get poisoned, but I think we'll be fine. If nothing else, you can kind of learn what each spell does. We'll go one more fight, then we'll spend the night. I'll save the game after I spend the night. Because the idea is I want to see... Yeah, the idea is that I want to see, basically, where the game's going to dump us off in a cave or something, so that could go poorly. See, the enemies are spawning pretty quickly here, but... I maintain that as soon as the fight ends, the game rolls a number to say, okay, the next fight will occur after this number of steps. Now, what is that number? Who knows? Like I said, I'll have to do a data dump to determine that. Like, yeah, $10. I guess it's $5 a person. We're not saving that. We could save the game, though. Wouldn't be a terrible idea. Okay, so you can't save the game unless you pay for it, so... Good thing we have saves coming. So I'll head out, then we'll go to the sailor. Because if we save our game here, it'll save us some trouble in the future. Okay, so where's our save? Yeah, he's the third game save. So we have her. We have the third game. We can also delete this one. So we know where to find her. That's the important thing, at least. And we know where the ship is, so that's good, too. So we're overwriting that. Whoops. Didn't mean to back out like that. Whoop. Gotta back out. Sorry, didn't mean to come here. Sorry. It's just an item shop, isn't it? Yeah, it's an item shop that has an escape pipe, an escape pipe or whatever. The escape pipes aren't that expensive, so that's good. But it takes like, it'll take like 7 or 8 fights to build up enough money to have that. Well, Miyu's a healer, so I might as well give the monomate to him. I might need I think I'm going to need an antidote. Although I will be able to find an antidote inside the prison, or the cave we're going to. Can I only hold 5 items? Am I carrying anything else? Yeah, the monitor. I don't know what the monitor is for. I think it's for, like, checking out enemy stats. I guess we'll find out later. Let's see how much money we can earn from one of these fights. I think I earned like $5 or $6. It's not a lot of money, as I recall. Okay, it's way more steps than I expected to take before a fight spawned. You're only gonna get one. We're gonna get $1 from this. So she leveled up, so that's fine. So I thought there was like a more valuable mob that was going to show up a bit later. Or we surprised him. Yeah, so depending on the enemies you get, it takes a while to earn the money you need, unfortunately. Yes, we're not really going to earn enough money to get an escape pipe. Let's just bail. Actually, I think what happens is once we talk to the captain, he will let us board the ship. But once we get on the ship, it's a one-way trip, basically. So we don't want to get on the ship right away. In a cave on the island, I hear he stole a gem. Okay, fine. So we can get on the ship when we're ready. We can do the game save here. Let's ship out. See the palace down there in the muck? The evil Dark Force. Dark Force. Dark Force. For your average 12-year-old could have written the script for this game. Ugh, this is a bad place to be. Let's not fight anyone just yet. Whoop. I don't remember where the cave was exactly. Can't escape. Okay, we escaped. So it worked that time. So you can rewind back to the menu if you want to make sure you can escape. So we'll create a few breadcrumb saves as we go. I know there's a monomate in the treasure chest around here. I'm gonna escape mostly for now because I don't have any way to really. I mean, I do have a way to heal myself, but I don't have nearly enough magic. If nothing else, I get to avoid the grind. But if I'm gonna grind, I'm gonna do it. If I'm gonna grind, I'm gonna do it when I'm not recording commentary. Or I'll do it when I can add it on as bonus footage for the video. At the end of the video. Like for a data dump. I have to back out of that. Okay, so it worked that time. So I have to leave the cursor. So I think it's every time the cursor touches that escape menu option, it rolls a new chance to escape. And maybe that's what's going on. Yeah, he poisoned me. Yeah, at least he didn't poison me that time. I do want to see if I can cancel out the auto battling once it starts. Whoop, found an escape pipe. An escapipe. Fat escapipe. Okay. Well, I couldn't cancel out of it because I finished the fight too quickly. That can't be good. Okay, it worked that time. Okay, so it's just a dice roll that determines if you can run away or not. Got ambushed. Yeah, I'm doing all this because the battles are tedious. I couldn't escape. Wow. Yeah. So we're getting a lot more gold down here. A lot more mess at the Meseta. Again, there's a 99% chance I'm gonna have to backtrack out of this cave. I want to say, yeah, Phantasy Star 2 came with like a big 100-page strategy guide that shows you maps of the entire game and every dungeon, which I obviously didn't have access to when I was playing myself. Because I have a whole video on this channel where I played the first 3 hours of Phantasy Star 2 and drove myself nuts. Those dungeons are ridiculous. I can see why they included the maps. Especially for people who are playing, you know, this game in 1990. Trying to play Phantasy Star in 1990 would have drove you mad. Okay, what do we got? Ooh, a shield. Just a second. Now, who needs it? Unfortunately, there's no easy way to switch between characters from this menu. Defense 22. Yeah, we both have the same defense. But I don't even know who can equip it. Oh, this is the next page here. Wow, this is some old school development. Yeah, the menuing is very simplistic. Interface is as good as you can possibly hope, I guess. Got a knife in my right hand and my shield in my left hand, and I doubles my defense. Well, that's a very good upgrade. Doubles my defense. That's way better than the shield in Phantasy Star 2. That thing probably gave... I think I would get a helmet. It would give me like a 10% boost to my defense. Like, just garbage. So when do I earn that Ryuka spell? Yeah, I didn't learn any new techniques, did I? Nope, no techniques. Well, it's nice to have a healing cyborg with me that can slash dudes in half. That's pretty awesome. Got me a die mate. Boy mate. Am I going up or down? Down. I gotta save the footsteps by rewinding. This dungeon doesn't seem so bad. Like, remember when Phantasy Star 2 came out? Like I said, the North American version included a strategy guide with a big honking map, like a bunch of maps of all the dungeons. At which point, it's like, when you develop the game, do you come to the conclusion that we're going to include a map in this game? Because if you develop a game knowing you're going to include a map, then why make the dungeon so complicated if anyone can just read the map? Because you don't have auto mapping built into the game, obviously, because it's old. You don't have room for that kind of crap. Although Zelda included an auto map, but the maps weren't that complicated. The dungeons were literally one square at a time. You were going one room at a time. So you couldn't really get lost in a dungeon Zelda. You couldn't really get lost in a dungeon. You couldn't really get lost in a Zelda dungeon. Oh, here we go. There he is. I do have the sapphire. I don't really need it, so you're welcome to it. So, he'll join us later, I guess. We found a sapphire. So we'll do a breadcrumb save. Just in case we get lost, if I'm being honest. So we have that breadcrumb save right here. We'll see how we do. It looks like the DC area is dodging a bullet here the week before Christmas. I was worried we might get an ice storm. It looks like it'll stick to the mountains. I might be going the wrong way, by the way. Okay, so I have to use the escape pipe to get out of here, I guess. But why waste it? Actually, we'll just test it. We'll see if the escape pipe does what I think it does. Escapipe. Takes us to the entrance. So we'll hoard that for later. But again, this is the pacing of the game early on. Load. So the pacing of the game is, it's a one-way dungeon. You can't really get lost in here, which is actually not terrible. By the way, is my cyborg companion wearing, like, evening gown gloves? Like, is she wearing, like, elbow-length gloves? I mean, never mind that she was, like, waiting 1,000 years for me in one place and didn't move. But her clothes didn't, like, wear down at all. Guess it's all Lycra. All of her jewelry was like, you know, completely unweathered. It's like yeah, she was wearing like forever chemicals, I guess. I don't know. I guess it was all polyester. Yeah, she was wearing all polyester. It just didn't break down. Okay, I don't remember. Okay. You can't really get lost here. I'm just saving steps. I don't have to keep running away from fights. So yeah, there aren't any branching paths here. But like I said, that brings up the whole question about how complicated should your dungeons be. Because my argument is that if you have a map, if the game includes a map, the game, like, ideally there'd be like a digital map that you can like open up, like a PDF or something, or an image that includes a map of the dungeon. Or there's a map you can buy outside of the dungeon that makes the dungeon easier. My logic is that if you include auto mapping, then you can make your dungeons more complicated. Because the game is tracking your progress. The game is basically saying, okay, if you need, we've given you a guide. So we can make the dungeons more complex. But people have to like keep this, if people have to keep this all down in their heads, then if you make the dungeons ridiculously complicated, they're going to be frustrated. At that point, you could do the Zelda thing, where if you're not going to include auto maps, if you want people to make your own maps, make the dungeon simplistic, like one screen at a time. You can make the dungeons complicated, like an Etrian Odyssey or Wizardry or games like that. But the idea is that you want to make your game easy to map. If you aren't going to include a map, if you want your players to whip out their map making skills, you need to make your game easy to map. You can't map a game like Skyrim, so you have to include a map because it's too complicated to make a map of a game with geometry that complex. You know what I mean? Let me wander around a bit. Let me see if there's anything else here on this island. I want to say there's nothing. Because I'm curious. I don't even know if I can come back here. I mean, there might be tougher enemies here, so it might be worth picking a few fights than running away. I might get some really good loot. Like, my hope is to get at least, you know, $50 so I can afford another escapipe. Excuse me, an escapipe. I think the escapipe was one of those, like, what would you call it? Like, it's not incredibly valuable. I just kind of want to have one in case I get bored dealing with a really complicated dungeon. But you really need those escapipes in Phantasy Star 2, I would argue. You didn't need them, but it was really frustrating to have to backtrack out of a dungeon. And I'm curious if the boat will come back here. Because I might want to grind on that island. Yeah, I can. Okay, it's a one-way. So it's a ferry. Yes, I see it. We'll probably have to go there at the end of the game or something. I don't know. So I can grind on that island if I want to. Which looks like I'm going to do in about 2 or 3 minutes. I got the gem. Now what? I mean, I think I'm just going through the motions at this point. Like, I don't know what I have to make. At what point do I have to make a meaningful decision in this game? So we create the ground zero save here. Well, not ground zero save, but a second. Like I said, I think I'm just going through the motions at this point. Because at one point I have to make a decision as to who to marry. I have the gem, doofus. Yeah, I have the gem, so now what? What do I do with it? Switch. Oh, we get to choose who gets to go in front, okay. So I guess before I end the video, I can do a walk-around test. See how many steps I can take before I get into a fight. Still no techniques. Yeah, I got the defense now, so I'm pretty good. Anything else I can equip? Can't equip the monitor. Can't. So I got the sapphire. What was that for? Do I have to equip it? I don't know what any of this stuff does. Like, I think maybe I just have to go to a different town. I don't know. If I just talk to him, he just kicks me out of town, which is fine. I mean, I'm not opposed to that. I'm just saying. Yeah, I have the gem. Okay, so I can just bounce. I don't know. So we'll do a quick save and see how many steps I can take. Because we're going to go to the next town. Okay, so this time we couldn't even make it to the couldn't even make it to the mountains, because remember I did that before. I walked to the mountains and back, and I didn't get into a single fight. So I guess it's a total roll. I guess we're just doing some data dump footage, kind of just documenting whether it's always the same every time I load. Yeah, see, so every time I loaded that, it's the same. So we'll do one test by going back into town and see if that respawns it. I want to see if that resets the number. Yeah, looks like I reset the number. So I'm able to walk even further now. See, I made it halfway to the next town. Okay, so that's interesting. So going back to town probably saved me a few steps. It allowed me to travel much further without getting into a fight. So that's interesting. That might be something I can abuse later. There isn't much money to be made on this part of the island, on this part of the world. So I probably need to go to that other island if I want to grind up, I suppose. So where were the people who said they don't trust cyborgs? Well, I mean, I don't even know where I'm supposed to be going at this point. So that brings up a whole other conversation. Well, she thinks she looked pretty odd, too. I don't know. She looks pretty hot, don't you think? Carry a woman toward the east. Wait, what? Oh, my wife. Sorry, my fiance. So I'm curious how far east I can go. I guess that could be the, oh, yeah. I don't know. This is the part. I need to go online before I can unlock what this thing's even about. So I want to save my game here and explain that. Technique distribution costs 10 Meseta. I have no idea what it does. So let me show you what I mean. It's like I backed out. Sorry, I hit the wrong button. He doesn't have any techniques. Now, Vampire Apprentice Miyu here, on the other hand, does have multiple techniques. Want to do heal tech or order tech? I don't know what order tech is. We can go to... So it looks like her regular healing spell, Res. Yeah, her regular healing spell is the fire. The G-Res, which is the party healing spell, is the blue. Rever is green stars and Anti is pink diamonds. I have no idea what any of this crap means. But I'm probably not even going to use the G-Res spell. I don't even know what Rever does.